we come to the last part of this locus equation, and we'll start from some of the past paper questions, from the more standard one to the some of the more strange ones. All right. So now let's take a look at this question. This is a very standard question. We have two fixed points, A and B, right? One is 2, 5, the other is 4, -1. So we have a moving point, so that AP is BP. So that means you have two fixed points, and P is moving, so that these two distances, they're always the same. Alright, so we know now, after so many exercises, we know this is the perpendicular bisector between A and B. So we can either do it with geometry or algebra, right? In algebra, we set up the two distances to be the same. Alright, so that is the distance of PA squared is the same as the distance of PB squared. So we put x and y, alright, and the coordinates of A and B, one point is 2, 5, the other is 4, -1, alright. So we have, we know the x squared and y squared will be eventually cancelled. It becomes a straight line, so that the locus becomes a straight line, right? -4x, -10 and 29, right? On the right hand side is x squared and y squared, -8x and 2y and 17, alright. So that is 4x minus 12y and 12 equals to 0. Divide by 4, we have x minus 3y and 3 equals to 0. Do we have this answer? We have A is the answer, right? Alternatively, you can do it with geometry. You find the midpoint between them, right? The midpoint will be the midpoint between A and B. Alright, the midpoint between A and B will be, point A is 2 and 5, point B is 4 and -1, right? So that the midpoint between them will be 3 and 2. Alright, we can find the slope of AB. The slope of AB once again will be 2, 5 is point A, 4 and -1 is point B. So the slope of AB will be -3. Therefore, the slope of the locus will be 1/3. Alright, so that would be y is mx and c as an unknown constant k. You can use 2-point form or you can use my way, right? To find this unknown constant k, I think about, in order to do k, because it passes through the point 3, 2, alright? It passes through the point 3, 2. So when x is 3, y shall be 2, alright? So that means the constant must be a 1 in order to satisfy the midpoint 3, 2. So that is y is 1/3 x plus 1. After rearrangement, it changes to x minus 3y plus 3 equals to 0, the same answer. Alright. So very briefly, I did it with algebra, I did it with geometry methods. Alright, it's a pretty standard question. There are numerous ways. The key to this part is speed. Alright, the greatest challenge is speed. It is a very standard question. Alright, so let's move on to some of the less standard question. Take a look at this one. Now, it takes some, understanding of the question before you can move on. Alright, so we have a circle, right? X squared and y squared, blah, 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 whatever. It is a circle. The circle is like this. Now, there are 2 points A and B lying on the circle. Alright, so this is point A, this is point B. Alright. Now, P is a moving point, so that AP is the same as BP. Now, we did it so many times, now we know, right? If AB is the same as BP, then the locus of P will be the perpendicular bisector between A and B. So that would be the locus of B, locus of P, something like this, alright? It's the perpendicular bisector between A and B. Alright, so point P will be any point on this line, okay? So now the equation of locus of P is, we even know this, right? They even give you this, is x and 2y and k equals 0. We don't know what k is. We want to find out what k is, alright? Now it is very different from what we did previously, because we have no idea on what points A and B are, right? Do you have any idea about the coordinates of point A and point B? No, you don't know what A and B are, alright? So you have to use some geometry to understand this question. Alright. The whole question is about the idea that the center of a circle is lying on the perpendicular bisector of any chord. Alright. if you take 2 points A and B and then you join them together, we call this the chord of the one of the chords of the circle. The perpendicular bisector will always go through the center. The perpendicular bisector of a chord always goes through the center. That means the center is lying on this pink line. What is the center? From the green circle, we can read the center, right? We can read the center will be at 3, 2, right? We can read it from the equation. The center is at 3, 2. So we know 3, 2 satisfies this pink line. So we have 3 plus 2 times 2 plus k equals to 0. So k will be minus 7, right? This is very different from the other locus question that we did. Alright, you have to use some geometry idea to understand this. The geometry idea being this one, that the center of the circle is lying on the perpendicular bisector of any chord. Right? We did that previously. If you have another chord, then the two perpendicular bisectors will meet at the center. Right? But anyways, this is another past paper question, right? It's a bit different from what we did previously. And finally, we have this one, right? Now, once again, you have to read the question. It's a little bit different from what we did. Alright, so we have two straight lines. One of them is called L1, the other is L2, right? If you look at the slope, they have the same slope. L1, the slope is 3, right? The slope equals to 3. And if you look at L2, the slope is also 3. So they are in fact a pair of parallel lines, okay? So this is kind of, this is kind of L1 is like this. L2 is like this. So this is L1, this is L2, alright? Now P is a moving point. P is a moving point, alright? So that the distance from P to L1 is equal to the distance from P to L2. Now this statement controls how P is moving. P is moving so that the distance between L1 is the same as the distance, it cannot be here, right? The distance to L1 is too long. So it must be at the midway between L1 and L2. So this is the distance from P to L1. This is the distance from P to L2. They must be the same. So I think you can guess P will be the line at the middle of L1 and L2. Parallel to L1 and L2, right? So we know the slope of P, the slope of the locus should be 3, right? It is the same as the slope of L1 and the slope of L2. They are both 3. Alright, we change to y is mx and c, and then we get the slope. But now the problem is we know the slope is 3, so we look at the answer whose slope is 3, right? The two, they are all wrong because they have the wrong slope. The slope is 1/3, right? So these two answers, they are not correct. These two, they have the right slope. The slope equals to 3, right? You can change it to y is mx and c, and you get the slope. So we have to choose among c and d. Alright? Now, here is a non-standard thing about this one. If we want to get the correct answer between c and d, you have to look at the y-intercept. Alright? And knowing that p is the midway between L1 and L2, so the y-intercept of the locus shall be the midpoint between the y-intercept of L1 and L2. So we have to get the intercepts. Let's see, let's do that again, alright? 3x minus y and 7 is 0. So one of the intercept is 7, right? This is one of the intercept, this is 7. The other straight line is 12x minus 4y minus 11 is 0. So we change to y is 3x minus 11 over 4, alright? So this is minus 11 over 4. This is the other slope. This is the other intercept. Alright, so let's call it k, alright? So using our previous analysis, we know that k is in the midway between the two intercepts. So it's 7 plus minus 11 over 4 divided by 2. So that is 17 over 8. That is the position of the intercept of the locus. So the locus is something like this. Is y is 3x plus k, alright? And you multiply by a, you have 24x minus 8y minus 17 equals to 0. This is the answer. 24x. Oh, sorry, I made a mistake here. It should be a plus, right? 7. It should be plus. It should be plus. Sorry, it is a plus 17 over 8. It should be a plus 17 over 8. So it is y is 3x plus 7 over in green. So after simplification, the answer goes to this one. Alright. So in this video, I demonstrated some of the MC question from the DSC past paper on the locus. We started from the pretty standard one to some of the more non-standard ones, right? But I hope you get the idea. In addition to MC question, there are other A2 and even section B question. You can take them from the past paper. So that is the end of the chapter on locus. Thank you.